This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That was me having a bit of a noodle, really nothing more than that on this guitar here. I think it came out okay though, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, this Squier Classic Vibe 50 Strat. By the way, full tab in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats for that solo, as well as the clip of me playing it and the jam track to play along with yourself. That's all up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description, as I'm sure you know by now if you're a regular viewer. $3 or about £3 a month gets you access to all of these additional goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. And of course, a massive, massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, which are also downstairs down there in the description box. Including the Tier 2 level of Patreon membership, where you get all those kind of benefits, but you also get a twice monthly hangout with me and the other Tier 2 lads on Zoom, and some extra video content that I'm putting up there as well. So thank you to everyone who supports me in any of those ways that all keep the lights on around here. Right, that's the shilling over with. Let's talk about this guitar. As I say, Squier Classic Vibe 50 Strat. I bought this on the 24th of September, and it is now the 30th of October. So it's been a few weeks, and I think that's long enough to for the new guitar novelty factor to have abated somewhat, and I can draw some conclusions about this guitar. I get a lot of people contacting me saying, John, I know you don't like Strats, but you know, or I know you're not really into Strats, or yeah, Strats aren't your favourite guitar. I don't dislike Strats, okay? They're just not where I'm at as a guitarist these days. You know, some people have real problems with them. You know, the one that I only started hearing this fairly recently was that the volume control placement, you know, being too easy to kind of knock and you know, kind of turn your volume off. I was a Strat player for many, many years throughout, well, from the mid-80s till, I guess, the, when was it, about 2004, 2005, when I kind of made the switch to Telecasters. And in all that time, I never had that issue with the volume control. I never met any other Strat player who did either. But then, you know, suddenly few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I started, suddenly everybody's talking about what a big problem it is, but it was never an issue for me. Yeah, as I said, I just made the switch to Telecasters, and then from there to other twin pickup guitars, and the Strat sort of went by the wayside. As I say, new guitar novelty factor. Never jump to any conclusions about a guitar when you're still basking in the afterglow of that. But I think it's been long enough now that I can talk about this guitar objectively. And what I can say is that it may not be the best Strat I've ever owned. Probably that title would go to not even a Strat really. It would go to the Sire Larry Carlton S7 that I had, in terms of the build quality and just the way it feels. It feels like a real quality product. It feels like a boutique custom shop guitar, to be honest with you. So that was probably the best Strat I've ever owned, best S-type guitar I've ever owned. But in terms of the most fun Strat I've ever owned, I'd say this one. You know, I can't think I've had more fun on any other Strat style guitar than I've had with this one. It's a bizarre thing to say. I'm not one of these guitar players who names their guitars, but I could imagine myself naming this one because it just seems to have personality. I don't know whether it's just the Hank Marvin kind of look about it, and you know, just the aesthetically it pleases me, which is bizarre because normally I don't like guitars in solid colours. I like a nice kind of burst finish over a nice looking piece of timber, but I don't know, maybe I'm kind of maybe hearing Hank Marvin at a young and formative age has left me with a predilection for this colour scheme. But it just seems to have a lot of personality, even though it's not where I'm at these days. Let me put it this way. This guitar reminds me a lot of this record here. Okay, yes, I'm that old. I went out and bought that single with my pocket money when I was a kid. Would I buy that single now? Well, no, not really. But it's got a lot of nostalgia value for me, and the same can be said for this guitar. Well, I did buy this guitar these days, didn't I? But you know what I'm saying. Waterloo by ABBA is it's not a song that I listen to, or any ABBA song. You know, it's not music I listen to on a daily basis. But when the mood takes me and I want to get all kind of misty-eyed and you know, rose-coloured spectacles for a dim and distant halcyon past, then you know, I will listen to a little bit of ABBA, and that's kind of how I feel about this guitar. The reasons why it's not something that I would regularly use these days. I have been putting it through its paces, using it in lessons in a few videos that you've seen it in and stuff. But the reasons why are, first of all, you know, the famous position 2 and position 4, or if you count them the other way around, position 2 and position 4 settings. This pickup combination and this pickup combination, I think that was one of the things that made me fall in love with the sound of a Strat in the 80s. You know, Mark Knopfler, I think Robert Cray's first album, Strong Persuader, I had that at the time, and you know, and Clapton as well with his Blackie Strat. You know, that kind of sound was just such, I found it really intoxicating, to be honest with you, until the moment when you just kind of get weary of it. And I think I've even on this guitar now, I'm using the bridge pickup, the middle pickup and the neck pickup by themselves. I'm not really using the in-between positions. I'm liking the tone control wired to the bridge pickup. I could have saved so much money over the years, you know, by ripping the bridge pickup out of pretty much every Strat that I've owned and putting a Hot Rails or a humbucker or something in there, because I've always found the bridge pickup on the Strat too shrill and spiky sounding, you know. But the tone control wired to the bridge pickup solves that. I know people have been telling me this for years. But it's not until I've got this guitar that I've actually checked out that is a really useful little mod, and thankfully these guitars come with that pre-done. So I'm not really into the the kind of shrill bridge pickup on a Strat, although it can be tamed. The out of phase sounds are, you know, the Knopfler, Cray kind of sounds. As I say, I just grew weary of them. And that doesn't leave you with a heck of a lot on the selector switch. You know, middle position, yeah, it's okay, but it's never a sound I'm going to fall in love with. Neck position, I do like a nice neck single coil, it has to be said, so I enjoy that sound. But, you know, out of a 5-way switch, I'm not really kind of loving most of the positions on it, whereas on a twin pickup guitar, I tend usually to kind of enjoy all 3 settings. Another thing that I miss whenever I pick up a Strat is my forearm perch. This, I know this is meant to make it more comfortable, this kind of contour here, you know, where it kind of, let's move it around so you can see, you know what a Strat does anyway, but this kind of slope here. Some people like that because it kind of stops the guitar's body digging into your forearm, but for me, I like a nice hard edge there for my forearm to sit on. I think that's why I've never found the volume control thing a problem, because if you're one of those players where you need to kind of have your fingers perched down here to keep your hands steady, then yeah, that's going to be that is going to get in the way. But my thing is, I always just kind of sit on the edge here, and on a Strat, especially when you've been, you know, perspiring a little bit, you start to slide downhill. So I prefer, you know, a nice slab-bodied Telecaster or something. Bizarrely, I find that more comfortable. So, for occasional use and for comparisons, I'm glad I got this guitar. It's, as I say, the most fun Strat I've ever had. And it, as I said when I initially reviewed this guitar, if you want a Stratocaster and it has to have the word Stratocaster on it somewhere, you know, you're not going to entertain the idea of getting a Harley Benton or a Jet or, you know, any one of the countless Strat style guitars out there. If it has to say Stratocaster on it, and the lack of a 22nd fret and the lack of a satin finish neck, if those things don't bother you, then it's hard to see really what else you could want from this style of guitar that this doesn't deliver. So, you know, this is going to be my benchmark Strat for when I'm doing any kind of comparison video, and an occasional little novelty nostalgia thing that I'll pick up and, you know, kind of reminisce about my days as a kind of dyed-in-the-wool Strat guy. You know, a lot of happy memories of those days. I guess what I'm saying is that a Strat is it's a nice place to visit, but I don't want to live there, as you are probably more than well aware, because I seemingly never shut up about it. This is where my heart is now as a guitar player. I have become a dyed-in-the-wool Les Paul convert. I always used to think a Les Paul was the thick, muddy-sounding guitar that was great for beefy rock tones, but you know, you can't really do much else on it. Well, what a load of rubbish, frankly. I was speaking when I used to say that. You know, I've done videos on this where I'm playing country stuff, where I'm playing funky rhythm, Nile Rodgers style rhythm, funk parts on it, and it just handles it with aplomb. It gives it its own sort of Les Paul humbuckery kind of flavour. Yeah, you're never going to hear this on a track and think, oh, lovely Strat tone. But what you will hear is just a great guitar tone that fits in the sonic picture, you know, really rather well, I think. So yeah, and as I say, on this guitar, I love every setting on the pickup selector. I also like having independent volume controls for each pickup as well, because then you can sort of treat, where are we? You can treat this a bit like a clean and dirty switch that you would on an amp, but it's right there on your guitar. You don't have to hit the foot switch. So there you go, folks. Those are my conclusions about the Squier Classic Vibe 50s Strat. To summarise, it's the most fun Strat I've ever had. I enjoy playing it for nostalgic reasons, but I don't think this is going to ever be, or a guitar like this is ever going to be my #1 instrument. these days. And there you have it. Bit of a rambly video, I suppose, but I just wanted to kind of come to some conclusions, and I was sort of forming them as I was speaking, really, building the plane as I was flying it, really, is the expression. But that's the video for today, folks. Hope you found it entertaining and useful and maybe informative in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it? Of course, don't forget the live stream tomorrow and every Friday, 5 PM UK time, where we drink beer and chat, basically. It's just, you know, what you do on a Friday, isn't it? 5 PM UK time. Come and join the conversation. It's a fantastic way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.